Good morning. This is Shindo. Now I feel compelled to talk about this right now. It's early in the morning, and I think it's important enough for me to go ahead and do a video about. I'm going to tell you something personal before I read this article. The whole Korean conflict strikes me very close to home because my ex-wife is Korean, and my children, I have 2 children with her, so I have 2 children who are half Korean. So this strikes home close to me, and it's not just some abstraction anymore when it comes to what's going on with Korea. And of course, as I have discussed before, if you look this up for yourself, you can find that these people who were remote viewers, these people who could sort of will themselves in their mind into the future, and I did a video about it. I just got a comment on that old video. It's from last year. I'll put a link up in the description box. These remote viewers who could see into the future and who saw that the North Koreans would fire a missile onto South Korea, a nuclear tipped missile, that they saw this and they kept projecting themselves into the future, and the next event that they saw after that was just total annihilation. It was something they call the kill shot, which is the sun, some kind of a solar ray from the sun that destroys all life on Earth. I look at all these prophecies, and I don't take them as though they're 100%. Like, if one thing happens, I don't necessarily think that another thing is going to happen from the same person who prophesied that. I do and have seen and have been paying attention because of my personal interest into, North Korea. And I have been discussing North Korea and this whole idea of these people who have been able to project themselves into the future and see it, these remote viewers, for quite some time now. So when the reality hits, it's an entirely different thing. And the reality of the situation, of course, is that we have a president who is not someone who hesitates to do things that he should hesitate to do. Let me read this article. So I'll just read this article, and then I'll wrap that up with this. This is on Yahoo News. It's I can't read. It's AFP. I can't read the news source, but I will give you a link. It's on Yahoo. U.S. Navy strike group heads towards Korean peninsula. Washington. The U.S. Navy said on Saturday it had sent a carrier-led strike group to the Korean peninsula in a show of force against North Korea's, quote, reckless nuclear weapons program. The move will raise tensions in a region that comes hard on the heels of a U.S. missile strike on Syria that was widely interpreted as putting Pyongyang on warning over its refusal to abandon its nuclear ambitions. North Korea denounced Thursday's strike as an act of, quote, intolerable aggression and one that justified, quote, 1,000,000 times over the North's push towards a credible nuclear deterrent. As I have said before, Kim Jong-un is not someone that you want to push into a corner. You don't want to push anyone into a corner, but definitely someone who seems to be, not sane. You don't want to push someone like that into a corner. Quote, U.S. Pacific Command ordered the Carl Vinson Strike Group north as a prudent measure to maintain readiness and presence in the Western Pacific, unquote, said Commander Dave Benham, spokesman at U.S. Pacific Command. Quote, the number one threat in the region continues to be North Korea due to its reckless, irresponsible, and destabilizing program of missile tests and pursuit of nuclear weapon capability, he told AFP, an unusually forceful statement. Originally scheduled to make port calls in Australia, the strike group, which includes the Nimitz-class aircraft superior U.S. Carl Vinson, is now headed from Singapore to the Western Pacific Ocean. Pyongyang is on a quest to develop a long-range missile capable of hitting the U.S. mainland with a nuclear warhead, and has so far staged 5 nuclear tests, 2 of them last year. Again, folks, they're never going to hit us in the mainland, but for anyone to think that North Korea firing a nuclear bomb at South Korea is somehow not going to affect us here in the United States is a fool. You're a fool, okay? So don't write on some stupid, just random comments like that on this video. Expert satellite imagery analysts suggest it could well be preparing for a 6th, with U.S. intelligence officials warning that Pyongyang could be less than 2 years away from developing a nuclear warhead that could reach the continental United States. North Korea on Wednesday fired a medium-range ballistic missile into the Sea of Japan ahead of a U.S.-China summit. In February, the North simultaneously fired 4 ballistic missiles off its east coast, 3 of which fell provocatively close to Japan in what it is said was a drill for an attack on U.S. bases in neighboring Asian country. Last August, Pyongyang also successfully test-fired a submarine-launched ballistic missile 500 kilometers, 300 miles, towards Japan, far exceeding any previous sub-launch test in which the North's leader, Kim Jong-un, hailed as the, quote, great success. A nuclear-capable SLBM system would take the North threat to a new level, allowing deployment far beyond the Korean Peninsula and a, quote, second strike capability in the event of attack on its army bases. U.S. unilateral action. That's a question. On Thursday and Friday, U.S. President Donald Trump hosted his Chinese counterpart, Xi Jinping, for talks during which he pressed Pyongyang key allies to help curb the North's nuclear weapons program. Trump has threatened unilateral action against the hermit state, a threat that appears more palatable after Thursday's strike on a Syrian airfield following an apparent chemical attack. The head of North American Aerospace Defense Command, which provides missile detection for the region, said Thursday she was, quote, extremely confident of U.S. capability to intercept a potential intercontinental ballistic missile bound for America from the north. But General Lori Robinson expressed concerns for the type of ballistic missile powered by a solid fuel engine that Pyongyang had said it successfully tested in February. Quote, amidst an unprecedented pace of North Korean strategic weapon testing, our ability to provide actionable warning continues to diminish, unquote, Robinson said in a written testimony to senators. And while a U.S. unilateral strike on North Korea from a shorter range might be more militarily effective, it likely would endanger many civilians in South Korea, experts warned. The isolated North is barred under UN resolutions from any use of ballistic missile technology. Well, this, folks, is no longer theory. It's no longer me talking about future. This is happening now. So, my suggestion to people is I wouldn't worry about, running out, getting food and water and things like that, because that's not going to help. That's not going to help. My suggestion to you is the same suggestion that I had been giving you for a long, long time. And that is repent. Because the kingdom of heaven is at hand. It's that serious, folks. And when I say repent, and I don't mean get on your knees and pray to Jesus Christ. Repent, to me, means a recognition of what you've done wrong. We've all done wrong, folks. We've all done wrong. And it's very important for us as individuals to make things right as well as we can. Because that is going to be the way that you make it through these next few years, is through community. Because if you think as an individual that you can somehow, keep all this stuff at bay, that's not going to happen. We have to come together as a community of people in order to survive. And that is as serious as I can ever put it. We have to come together as a community, put aside all these differences that we have, all these differences that we have when it comes to our preconceptions of God, our particular way of religious, just a lot of stuff that they have thrust upon us as the human race in order to keep us separate from one another. Okay? I'm saying this and I'm thinking in my head, I'm still going to get all these thumbs down, despite the fact that I'm trying so hard, folks, to get people to strip down all the nonsense that we have been taught at a very young age that has divided us as a people. I'm talking about the human race here. Not Americans, not the human race. We have to reach out to one another. We have to be able to look past our differences. And that's how you survive. Because no amount of ammunition, no amount of food and water and all that stuff can be taken from you. Okay? All of that can be taken from you. But reaching out to people who you may have never considered as a possible friend in times like now. And that's what I mean when I say repent. This is Shindo. Have a good Sunday.